I guess I enjoy doing it. It's okay. And that's what it is. I mean, I think that's really what defines a marriage. I mean, that's really what love is. I mean, I would rather be with her than doing something else.
At 75, Jay Leno's life shines with fame, wealth, and the laughter of millions. But behind the camera, a quiet storm brews. The man who once commanded stages and late-night audiences now faces struggles that no joke can fix. Each day brings new challenges, testing his strength and resolve in ways the world will never see. And just when it seems he has it all under control, life delivers a twist that changes everything. Join us to uncover the untold story. Jay Leno's quiet commitment. At 75, Jay Leno has spent a lifetime making America laugh. But these days, his stage looks different. The former Tonight Show host now spends most of his time at home, tending to his wife of over 4 decades, Mavis Leno, who is living with advanced dementia. When the news of her diagnosis became public in early 2024, Leno spoke with a simplicity that revealed both heartbreak and devotion. "It's not work," he said. "I like taking care of her." Behind the headlines, their life has shifted into a slower, softer rhythm. Friends say he still finds ways to make her smile, sometimes by watching old Tonight Show clips together or sharing stories from their early days in comedy. He has always been known for his tireless work ethic, but now his energy is focused on something more personal, preserving joy for the woman who stood by him long before the fame and the fortune. "I'm just lucky that I am able to take care of her," Leno told People. Gratitude, he insists, is the key to surviving this season. Their daily life is a study in contrasts. The man once surrounded by bright lights and laughter now measures his days in small victories, a shared laugh, a moment of recognition, a quiet evening at home. The world knows Jay Leno as the man with the cars, the jokes, and the headlines. But those close to him describe a different figure now. A husband navigating love through the fog of loss. The tragedy is not only in the disease itself, but in the quiet reversal of roles. The comedian who once brought humor to millions is now the one trying to hold on to light amid encroaching darkness. This reveals a tenderness often hidden beneath the surface of celebrity. It is not a punchline or a spectacle, but a portrait of endurance and grace. The laughter remains, though softer now, woven into a deeper understanding of what it means to love without expectation. As Jay holds the steering wheel of this caregiving journey, how did he and Mavis arrive here? What was their story before dementia took hold, and what tragedies and controversies littered his path before this deeper one? Let's take you back. When two lives joined, long before the television lights and the roaring laughter of late-night audiences, Jay Leno was simply another young comedian trying to make people laugh in Los Angeles. It was the 1970s during his early days at the Comedy Store, when fate introduced him to Mavis Nicholson. Their meeting was unplanned, but something about their easy connection set the tone for what would become a lifelong partnership. They married in 1980, a quiet ceremony that began a marriage lasting more than 40 years. Mavis Leno was more than just a comedian's wife. Born on September 5, 1946, she carved out her own place in the world as a dedicated philanthropist and activist. She became a prominent voice for women's rights, serving as chair of the Feminist Majority Foundation's campaign for Afghan women and girls. Her efforts extended far beyond the glamour of Hollywood, rooted in compassion and conviction. Together, Jay and Mavis created a balance between the entertainment world and advocacy, each supporting the other's purpose. Their marriage stood out in an industry often marked by fleeting unions. The couple chose not to have children, instead focusing on each other and their passions. Their home life was private, filled with shared humor, mutual respect, and the stability that fame rarely allows. While Jay entertained millions on television, Mavis worked quietly behind the scenes, fighting for causes that mattered deeply to her. Yet, even in the glow of success, sorrow found its way into Jay's world. The early 1990s brought heartbreak when he lost both his parents within a year, his mother in 1993 and his father in 1994. Then, in 2002, tragedy struck again when his brother, Patrick Leno, passed away. Those losses etched themselves into Jay's life, deepening his sense of gratitude and shaping the way he valued loyalty and love. Through it all, Jay and Mavis remained steadfast. Their bond seemed unbreakable, but behind the steady smiles were the quiet pressures that accompany fame and fortune. Health concerns, exhaustion, and the relentless pace of show business slowly began to cast shadows over their seemingly perfect life. Their love held strong, but Jay's career would soon bring him into storms of controversies and public scrutiny. Let's now tell you how the limelight and troubles of fame strained their world. Fame, fortune, and the price of the spotlight. For decades, Jay Leno was a fixture of American television. His quick wit, trademark chin, and approachable humor made him one of the most beloved figures in entertainment. When he took over The Tonight Show in 1992, he became the face of late-night comedy, a role he held until 2009 before returning once more from 2010 to 2014. Audiences saw the charm and the laughter, but few glimpsed the immense toll that came with keeping millions entertained night after night. Leno's rise was a story of sheer persistence. From the smoky comedy clubs of Los Angeles to the gleaming studios of NBC, he built a career grounded in discipline and hard work. His everyman image resonated with viewers who saw him as the friendly neighbor with a great sense of humor. Off-screen, he became equally famous for his passion for cars and motorcycles, amassing one of the most remarkable private collections in the world. His wealth grew alongside his reputation, and for years, he was one of television's highest-paid hosts. Yet beneath the sheen of success, there was a quieter struggle. Leno often joked about his lack of sleep, claiming to function on just 4 or 5 hours a night. Behind the humor was a relentless drive to stay ahead in an unforgiving industry. He also lived with dyslexia, which made learning and preparation harder, but never stopped him from outworking his peers. The demands of fame required constant travel, endless tapings, and the weight of maintaining a public persona that left little room for rest or vulnerability. At home, the cost of this lifestyle became clear. Though Jay and Mavis Leno's marriage endured, their time together was often limited by his schedule. The glitz of success came with long hours and mounting pressure. Their life, once simple, now revolved around balancing love with the grind of celebrity. Even as his laughter filled living rooms across the country, cracks began to appear beneath the surface. Fame brought adoration, but it also brought scrutiny, controversy, and eventually health scares that would force Leno to reckon with his own limits. Fame brought success, but it also brought bigger storms. Let's explore how controversies, career shifts, and health scares began to chip at the veneer. Scars, setbacks, and the dark side of success. For much of his career, Jay Leno appeared unshakable, a man powered by humor, determination, and an unending work ethic. His polished smile and quick wit made him one of the most recognizable figures in American television, seemingly immune to the pressures of fame. Yet behind the laughter and late-night jokes were deep scars, both literal and emotional, revealing a far darker side to the success he had worked tirelessly to achieve. In recent years, Leno faced physical challenges that might have broken a lesser spirit. In November 2022, he suffered severe burns when one of his cars erupted in flames inside his Los Angeles garage. The accident left him with injuries to his face and hands, requiring skin grafts and months of recovery. Not long after, he endured another car accident that left him with multiple broken bones. Despite these setbacks, Leno returned to public life swiftly, joking about his injuries with the same resilient humor that had always defined him. But beneath the laughter was a quieter truth about his unrelenting drive and his refusal to slow down. These incidents were stark reminders that fame and fortune cannot shield anyone from the physical and emotional toll of life. The career that brought him immense pride was not without controversy. Leno's tenure on The Tonight Show became a lightning rod for public debate during the infamous late-night television wars. When he stepped down in 2009, passing the reins to Conan O'Brien, the transition quickly turned turbulent. Leno's return to the show in 2010 sparked further public criticism and divided fans. While he eventually reclaimed top ratings, the episode marked a painful period, testing both his public image and personal resolve. These moments illustrated that even a beloved figure is not immune to scrutiny, judgment, and the volatile nature of celebrity. Adding to the strain was his lifelong struggle with public perception. Leno's prominent jaw, a result of mandibular prognathism, became a defining feature of his persona. While he often joked about it, the scrutiny served as a constant reminder of how fame can amplify even the most personal insecurities. Over time, the accumulation of accidents, controversies, and relentless pressure to remain unbreakable began to wear at the edges of his seemingly invincible exterior. The laughter that once defined him grew tinged with quiet fatigue. Beneath the jokes and applause was a man navigating the cumulative cost of decades in the spotlight. Fame brought wealth, acclaim, and recognition. But it also exacted a hidden price: the physical scars, emotional strain, and moments of profound vulnerability that even the most celebrated comedian could not escape. As Jay confronted external storms inside his home, another crisis was quietly unfolding: his wife's health. Let's delve into the heartbreaking diagnosis and the weight it placed on their life. When Mavis's mind began to fade. In early 2024, Jay Leno and his wife Mavis faced a challenge far greater than any late-night ratings battle or public controversy. In January of that year, Jay filed for conservatorship over Mavis's estate, citing cognitive impairment as the reason. The move, though legal and necessary, was a stark acknowledgement of the toll dementia had begun to take on the woman who had been his partner for more than 4 decades. For a couple whose life together had been built on shared laughter, activism, and a deep connection, this was a moment that demanded both courage and careful planning. By April, the court granted the conservatorship, underscoring the severity of Mavis's condition. Reports noted that she sometimes did not recognize her husband or even remember her own date of birth. The progression of the disease was unmistakable, and for the Lenos, life suddenly became a careful balancing act between care and companionship. Everyday routines that had once been simple became exercises in patience, empathy, and attention to detail. Tasks like remembering appointments, managing medications, or even maintaining a sense of comfort at home now required constant vigilance and planning. Despite these challenges, Jay approached his new role with a combination of resilience, practicality, and humor. He described this period as difficult, but also emphasized the moments of joy that remained. "I enjoy her company. We have fun with it," he said, adding, "It's not cancer, it's okay. Behind these statements lies a subtle truth. Caregiving is about more than scheduling appointments or administering medications. It is the slow, emotional work of watching a partner's mind fade, of navigating a reversal of roles, and confronting the uncertainties of what the future holds. It is about finding meaning in the small victories, the fleeting moments of recognition, and the laughter that still manages to break through the fog of memory loss. The shift has fundamentally changed their daily life. Jay, once a man of constant public attention, now measures his days in shared laughter, small routines, and the quiet satisfaction of being present. The public sees the glitz of a celebrity, but the private reality is a poignant mix of love, grief, and devotion. Every smile from Mavis, every flicker of recognition, is both a gift and a reminder of what dementia slowly takes away. For Jay, these moments underscore the depth of commitment required in a lifelong partnership and the enduring power of love when faced with one of life's harshest tests. Caring for Mavis is one side of the story. But what about the marriage, the legacy, the unresolved issues of life together? The next chapter looks at how their life now reflects everything they built and what may be lost. A love tested by time. For Jay and Mavis Leno, decades of marriage have taught them the value of routine, devotion, and shared laughter. Even amid the challenges of Mavis's dementia, certain rituals remain steadfast. Jay insists on coming home every night, sometimes flying back immediately from appearances or obligations just to be there with her. These small acts of presence underscore a quiet commitment that fame and fortune can never replace. They are reminders that love, at its core, is shown through action, through the consistency of care, the moments of attention, and the willingness to put another person's needs before one's own. Joy continues to find its way into their daily lives, often in unexpected ways. Jay still makes Mavis laugh, even at jokes she may not remember moments later. Watching old clips of The Tonight Show, sharing familiar stories, or simply sitting together in the quiet of their home brings moments of light into a life shadowed by memory loss. In these instances, caregiving is not just duty. It becomes purpose and connection, a way to honor the life they built together. Every smile from Mavis, every flicker of recognition, is a small victory, a reminder that even in decline, the bond between them endures. Yet grief and loss are inevitable companions. While Mavis may not recall the details of their shared past, the emotional weight of her decline is palpable. Jay acknowledges the road ahead will not be easy. There are going to be a couple of years that are tricky, he told E! Online, hinting at the prolonged period of adaptation, patience, and resilience that lies before them. The slow erosion of memory tests the heart in ways no public stage ever could, presenting a private struggle far removed from applause or accolades. Each day carries both a challenge and an opportunity to meet the reality of dementia with compassion, humor, and unwavering devotion. Through it all, Jay reflects on the meaning of love after more than 40 years together. What does it mean to love someone whose mind is slipping? For him, it is simple: sticking by the person you cherish through the laughter, the setbacks, and the quiet moments of sorrow. This is what love is, he said. You stick with them. Their marriage, already remarkable for its longevity in a world of fleeting celebrity unions, now stands as a testament to enduring commitment and shared humanity. The public sees Jay's cars, his stage, his jokes, but future questions hang heavy. What happens when the comedian is gone? Who inherits? How will Mavis be cared for? Let's explore the future and the legacy. Legacy, uncertainties, and the final act. As Jay Leno navigates the later chapters of his life, the questions of legacy, love, and responsibility have taken on new weight. In early 2024, he filed for conservatorship over his wife Mavis's estate, a step that included setting up a living trust and will for her and her brother. The legal actions were not just formalities. They were an attempt to safeguard her future and ensure that her affairs would be managed with care and foresight. The couple have no children, a fact that amplifies the stakes. With fewer obvious successors, the decisions about inheritance, caregiving, and stewardship of assets carry additional emotional and practical weight. For Jay, who has spent a lifetime in the public eye, these private concerns are now among the most pressing of his life. The contrast between public image and private reality is stark. The man the world knows for his booming laugh, enormous car collection, and decades of late-night comedy now lives through one of his hardest performances: daily caregiving, facing the slow decline of a beloved partner, and confronting the inevitable loss of autonomy that comes with dementia. The tragedy is not only in the disease itself, but in the subtle erosions it brings, the fear of being forgotten, the reversal of roles in a lifelong partnership, and the painful awareness of what it means to love someone as their memories fade. Yet even amid this hardship, there is a quiet dignity in Jay's commitment. His life has been measured in laughter and applause, but now it is measured in patience, devotion, and presence. How he will be remembered may not rest solely on ratings or car collections, but on the choice he made to stand by Mavis through her most vulnerable moments. Her story, too, is entwined with this legacy, a testament to decades of shared love, activism, and courage in the face of life's cruelest trials. As the spotlight dims on the stage and the applause fades, the final act is one of steadfast love, careful planning, and the bittersweet realities of a life lived together. What remains is a question for the heart. How will both Jay and Mavis be remembered? Not just for what they did, but for how they endured? Jay Leno's life and the struggles he faces with his wife are truly heartbreaking at 75. What are your thoughts on their journey? Share them in the comments.